We ain't taking no L's. No, 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 no. Saints breaking out of cells. Go, 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 go. The battle's been won. He said it's done. So we ain't taking no L's. We ain't taking no L's.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Monday Morning Mindset Podcast. Paul McLean here. As always, it is an honor and privilege to be here with you guys, and I appreciate you blocking at this time. I hope it serves you and serves you well. Every week, like I said, my goal is to sit back and say, how can I provide great value to you, where you can level up your mindset? Because the reality is, when your mindset gets better, you get better, your business gets better, your life gets better. And so today, as we're getting close to this end of the year, I have a very special guest on that's going to bring you significant value. So just trust me. This is a trust test. If you trust me, you'll share it before I even tell you who the guest is. But today we've got Holly Newton on. Holly, good to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. And we've got you live in the studio, which is great. Mm-hmm. First of all, a little bit about yourself real quick for anybody that's watching this that doesn't know you. A little bit about your background, and then this year, talk about, what you're going to issue pay, and then maybe even your goal for next year, because you've had some great success, some great results. And I think your story is very inspiring for me when you told me about, your guys' heart, what landed you in California, and then also, how the business has really blessed you and what you guys, have your heart set on. It's been a great fit. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Holly. I live in Southern California, not too far from Paul, which is really cool how God kind of put us together in this season of life, which is nice. But yeah, I haven't lived in California all my life. I moved here about 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago. My husband, he's a pastor. We are church planters. We found a church in the middle of nowhere in California in the middle of 2020. And God started just moving in our hearts, and we felt the burden to not see this church, get shut down. It was middle of COVID, and a lot of churches weren't meeting, and we just felt really burdened to help the state of California. We have a huge vision that God has given us for California itself, and it's all started from that one little church that we basically restarted from the ground up. And about a year into it, I realized I needed to work and bring in some income for our family. And I just came across insurance. I know the leaders here at Pinnacle very closely. Part of that's because we went to a Christian college all together. And I reached out to them, and basically I just told them my situation and that I needed to make some income. I knew sales was going to be what I needed to get into to help provide for our family and our future and the goals that we had in life. And thank God I got into it. It'll be 4 years exactly next month that I joined the life insurance business. And it's just been an incredible journey since then. The lives I've been able to help and bless through the business has been incredible. And then outside of the business, just the money generated from it, we've been able to bless so many other people around the world, missionaries and mission work, other churches being started in California. We're able to help fund that and even start our own foundation where one day we'll plant multiple churches throughout the state of California. So it's just really cool what God puts on our hearts years and years and years prior to the insurance business. And then he provides a way that you just could never imagine, Yeah. So it's really cool what God can do with a willing heart and a heart that is just ready to serve.
Yeah, I love that. It's like God will do the miraculous and the ridiculous. You're like, that doesn't even make any sense. How does this come about? And we've seen that all throughout, the scripture. And if anybody pauses, a lot of times you'll see that in your life. And so a lot of things that I want to unpack from what you just said. But Holly, just so people know, like issue paid production as a producer, like what are you going to finish up the year? We're about a week away from the end of the year. Like where do you end?
I'm pretty sure my issue paid numbers is going to be close to 430,000, if not a little bit more, a little bit less. So yeah, about that number.
That's awesome. So congratulations on entering the President's Club. That's a big deal. Did you hit that last year as well?
I did. This will be my 3rd year.
Wow. So 3 consecutive years. I do want to talk about that too, because I think that consistency is so important in this business. I think nowadays people are so focused and their attention goes to the intensity, like the person that's intense for a minute, right? They go to the gym and they work out for 4.5 hours that one day, but they don't go back and they hadn't been there in 2 months prior. Or the person that's just really intense. But I believe that consistency always beats intensity.
Yeah.
It's not a sexy word. It's not like, a word that you want to be called. Like, that's just a consistent person.
Yeah.
But it's so important to build longevity and to really take advantage of what this industry has to offer, which is such a financial blessing. So 3 years in a row, President's Club. 2026 is coming. I'm sure you have a vision for that too. But I really want to unpack this concept of vision, because you've gotten a vision, you move across country for that vision. You don't really know what it's going to look like. You go through a financial hardship where it's like you're trying to get a church planted and going. That doesn't provide any kind of income. It's hard to make any revenue when there's zero tithing and zero church really that's getting going. You're like, I got to do something to provide for my family. You got kids, and you find the insurance business. You start getting that going. And now you've got a vision of more churches, more things in ministry, what you're doing in your business. And so the first thing I could say is you've got a vision. And then the second thing is you executed with faith on a vision that didn't make all the sense in the world, especially starting a church in COVID in California. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, nobody be like, oh, that's a great idea. Good plan of action. Like, go with that.
Yeah.
Move to California in COVID, very liberal state. Like, that's going to work out well.
Definitely didn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. So first of all, how important has vision been for you? And then the second thing is, how do you get a vision? Because those that are watching right now, you're self-employed. When you're an employee, maybe you don't need a vision of what the career looks like because you don't have a lot of control over it. There's a lot of things that need to take place. Like, you're like, I envision being the owner of this business. Well, maybe that's not even a possibility because you're an employee in that and the person doesn't want to retire, right? But here, you can create a vision and create a whole future in this industry. Like, you can create a vision and go into 2026, and what you're going to accomplish, the level you hit is going to be closely tied to the vision that you create right now, ending the year. Talk about that vision, and that way others watching this can start to learn some of the things and practical steps they can take to build a vision.
Yeah. So, as you guys heard from my story, I'm obviously a Christian. I believe heavily in our Lord Savior, Jesus Christ. I believe that all vision and all things to come comes directly from God. So before I got into the business, I've always believed that if you align with Christ, He'll show you your path and your future. And me and my husband, we've always believed that God wanted us to serve Him and to make an impact in the kingdom. And then when the business just ended up happening, God just started opening more and more doors for His vision, God's vision of growing the kingdom to be able to be funneled through the business. And when you align with Christ, all these other things that you think is what you're supposed to do eventually just start aligning directly with God's path. And it's very important whenever you're planning your future and you have a vision for your business or your life, your relationships, just anything in general, that you're aligning exactly with what Christ has for you. And when it came down to the business, there are several goals that I wanted. This particular year, I wanted to grow the team. I grew the team. This particular year, I wanted to encourage a lot of my top producers to become team builders. And thankfully, they were able to pick up the role of mentorship and understand and learn how to pull other agents alongside them and grow and produce at a high level. One of my goals this year was to have 2 PC members grow a team. And thank God that happened. And then production wise, I really wasn't planning on hitting President's Club. It just kind of came to fruition in mid-August. I was like, oh, let's shoot for it. So we shot for it and got it done. And I always want to set an example of hard work and stewardship to the teams. So I thought, I think this will help the team see you can produce, you can mentor, you can grow, and hit President's Club too at the same time. I always like to eliminate excuses for the team. So I like to be the excuse crusher, if that makes sense. But yeah, in the future, I really want this coming year to grow more team members, and God's already starting to allow that to happen. I have several new agents and agents that's been writing for a little bit now that, they're recruiting, they're bringing on more people, and they're saying, Holly, I want to be a leader. This is where it's at. I know God wants me to lead, and God's allowing me to become a leader over leaders. And that's ultimately what I really wanted in this business, is to align with people who want to lead from the front and impact way more lives, because you can't impact lives if you're not leading.
Yeah.
Right. And so I want a team of leaders, and God just keeps bringing me more and more leaders. And it's incredible of, his vision is aligning with, his vision, and I'm just aligning it with my vision too.
Yeah.
And it's becoming our vision together in a sense. But yeah, this coming year, I want to have more leaders and develop them and grow the team. The big goal is for our team to produce 500,000 to 750 issue pay business a month by the end of 2026.
So come December 2026, the goal is 750 to 1 million in issue paid volume.
500,000 to 750. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like 750 more.
Yeah.
I think it just makes more sense given all the things you're talking about. A lot of what you just said is like you've had a vision and you're seeing that come to fruition repeatedly, right? When you talk about getting a vision and getting that from God, like, do you block out time at the end of the year? Do you have like a certain time throughout the week? Like, how do you get that vision where you're like, because I think a lot of people, I know everybody's got a different, level of faith and where they're at with it, right? But I think that most people would say, I want to be in God's will, what his plan is for my life, right? And you might have a lot of different plans that are running through your mind, but God's, steps will always prevail. He's going to align your steps. And so, but how do you do that? Do you spend time? Do you have a certain routine? How do you eliminate distractions? For someone that says, okay, that's great. Like you got a vision, you've hit a lot of those things that were your vision for 2025. How do I put together a vision for 2026? What's practically something that they could do?
Well, if anyone who has successfully done New Year resolutions throughout the years, you know that you're just not thinking about it in December and January, right? You're thinking about it consistently every single day, every single month. You're like, oh, my goals. I set up my goal for January for my resolutions. You're constantly thinking about it if you're going to accomplish those resolutions, right? It's the same thing with aligning your vision with God's vision. You can't just pray to God in December and set up goals for next year in January and then forget about it.
But what if somebody is sitting here and they're like, well, shoot, that's me. I have not put together any goals yet. It's December. Because for me, I usually try to block out like a day towards the end of the year, and I just want to put away all distractions. I get my cell phone off, and usually I don't ever turn my cell phone off. But like I know that how important this is, because I want to make sure that I can hear from God, right? I want to make sure that I'm not distracted or I'm thinking about other things. I want to get into this quiet place where I can hear that small, still whisper where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And that a lot of times for me, that's where my greatest breakthroughs has happened. I remember even my first executive assistant that became like a new agent mentor. I was like, God, like, what do I do? Like, I want to be more impactful. I want to be able to lead better. I want to help develop leaders. I want to grow this organization. I want to see more people change their life. Like, what does that look like? And to me, in my own, I thought like, I just got to work more. I can be more disciplined, squeeze out more white space, be more efficient. Because to me, it's like, that's what makes sense. And I heard like, you need to have a new agent mentor that can help, see what agent's going to produce fruit. You'll know when agent buys fruit, right? And then the ones that start to show fruit, you work with them, because a very hard thing to do is help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. And if they don't want to be helped, and they act like they want to be helped. They might say they want to be helped, but their fruit will be that of not wanting to help because they're not doing nothing with it. And so that changed my business. It just changed the way my whole business worked and looked. And I could give you story after story after story of like big breakthrough moments that came from that one day at the end of the year where I really started thinking about my new year. Do you do anything like that as well? Like to kind of just like really plan? Like how do you come up with the fact that you want, you know, 2, you know, President's Club members on your team? You want to hit 750. Like, do you spend time in prayer? Like, what does that look like for you?
At least 1 or 2 times a month, I am making sure I'm on God's path. I am making sure that the vision and goals that He's placed on my heart, I'm like on the path to get it accomplished, right? So a couple of times a month, I'm almost like realigning with God, like almost like, hey, God, this is still the path that we need to take here. So a couple of times a month, I'm doing that. But definitely at the end of every year, I'm just really praying to God. And usually it's the last quarter of the year. So come October, November, December, I'm just really having an open heart and an open mind to what God lays on my heart for whatever it is in the business, my personal life, my spiritual life. And I'm just allowing God to work in my heart, particularly in those sets of months right there. I'm praying extra. I'm fasting extra. I'm aligning myself with people in my spiritual walk who will help align me with my walk with God as well too. And during that time, I'm just praying, just spending time with the Lord. I cut out a lot of distractions. Music, for an example, I'm just really specifically listening to certain worship songs and allowing God to speak to me through that. I'm taking time out of my day, specific times out of my days even, where it's like, okay, I'm going to pray to God. We're going to just chat. We're going to talk and, you know, just see what God has for me. You know, I think the more we're talking to the Lord, the more intentional we're talking to the Lord, the more He's open to give us more feedback. And I'm really thankful for my walk with Christ. God's really blessed me and has opened up so many doors and revealed so many, just the future, honestly. And I'm really excited for what God has. But yeah,
Well, I'm excited to see what he's going to continue to do in your business, in your life, because there's no question He's working. And you know, for anybody that's on it that's like, well, shoot, I don't have a relationship with God. I've never spoken to God. I mean, there's a whole podcast we can talk about, you know, what that looks like. But, you know, even pauses for you that are like, yeah, I don't really know about this whole God thing, right? Just pausing and just getting quiet is so important, you know, and just asking yourself, like, you know, what's the number one thing I should be doing to take my life to the next level in every area of your life. And so, like, you know, you have different categories for your business. Like, you've got the sales and you got the recruiting. You know, asking yourself, like, what do you want your production to look like and why? Like, if you want to go out and issue pay $400,000 in 2026, why do you want to do that? Well, if you don't know why, good luck. You need to have a bag of reasons that's so heavy that when the pain of the discipline of having to continue to dial when you want to leave, because you know you got to hit that goal because it's a goal that you are non-negotiable. Like, this is what I got to hit. If your reasons are not greater than the pain, you're going to give into the pain. You're not going to continue on.
Yeah.
And so, why do you want to go out and hit 400,000 a year? Is it, well, I want to lead by example. I want to you know, have people that I'm recruiting be motivated and inspired because of the level of production and the standard that I'm setting. Okay, that's a reason. Well, maybe it's also I want to take, you know, that revenue that'll give me the ability to pay for all my bills, maybe even go move to this different neighborhood and still have excess to feed my business, get an executive assistant that can help me with all these, you know, minor things that I'm doing that drive me nuts, that take down my energy, that just draw on my time. And now I can place that more into producing, into recruiting. That's going to leverage more time. So these are the reasons why I want to do it. Well, okay, well, then focus on that, right? So now you have a vision of, I want to go, you know, help 40 families a month, and this is why I want to do it. And you got to consistently see that over and over again. And then on the building side, I love the way you said I wanted to help 2 people hit President's Club. That's specific. See, a vision, you need some specificity. It's not like, I just want to grow my business by 9%. So, well, do you even know what it actually is right now? Be specific. Like, really kind of step into this, like, with the conviction that you have a superpower to create a whole new future. Like, God gives you vision. He doesn't give any other creation a vision, regardless of what you believe or don't believe. Like, a silkworm is not going to wake up today and decide to create, a polycotton blend. It's just not going to do it. It's going to create silk. It was created to do what it's going to do. But we were created in the image and likeness by a creator that creates. So take it serious that, the life that you're going to live in 2026, it's first seen up here. If you could see it here, then you can see it out there. You have to see it before you see it, or else you'll never see it. So pausing and saying, what am I looking forward to? And not just in your business, but also in your fitness, also in your family, also in your relationships, also in your financial stewardship. How much money do you want to save? Why do you want to save it? Is that for college for your kids? Is it to set up an investment? Is it to have an investment property? Like, really kind of having this vision, right? And, Holly, there's no question that you spend time in that quiet time thinking and really kind of listening to what the vision that you have before you. And every year it's going to shift and change, and hopefully it's getting bigger and bigger. But the reality is, taking that vision and then executing, those are 2 different things, right? Like, I think the first thing is to really get a vision, and a vision that becomes so compelling that it moves you out of your old former self, right? The one that just feels like you, the one that maybe has been stuck for quite a few years, the one that maybe doesn't really truly believe you can go out there and be a President's Club member, maybe the one that doesn't think I could ever develop financial freedom, the one that doesn't ever think I could really make enough to give and make an impact. That person, just because that's been you, it doesn't mean that's who you truly are and who you're truly called to be. But you got to get a vision that's so compelling that it pulls you away from the feelings that are tied to the past, and that compels you to step into the future. When it's so compelling, then it's almost like your body just goes into work, and what seemed to be a great risk before and so uncomfortable that it was like hard to move and click the button to buy your $2,000 in leads, or to hire your first person, because you're always thinking like, well, what if I screwed up? How am I going to lead them? What am I going to have them do? And all these things that are going in your mind, the vision becomes so compelling that it's easier to take that step.
Yeah.
But you still got to take the step. And so for you, getting the vision and then taking the steps to make it come to pass, what are some of the things that you've done that have helped you take the action, where it wasn't just faith that God's called me to this, I'm going to go do it, but you took the action to make the faith actually come to pass?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people in the business world have great ideas. They have big goals and dreams or visions or whatever you want to call it, right? But they don't actually take direction towards that goal, that dream that they have, the dream team that they want to build, the issue paid number that they want to have, President's Club or whatever. It's like a thing on the vision board, but they don't have the path. They don't have the direction to actually get to point A to point B, right? And that's why it's so important in this business, or just really any aspect of life, you align yourself with people that will take you by the hand and walk you, drag you, whatever it takes to your goal and vision. Whether it's in fitness, if you have a certain goal for your body or for your health, you hire a trainer, someone who is better than you to take you to the vision that you have. In this business, I have several mentors, right? I have people that I get advice from. There's people that I get coaching from. Even at my level, I'm still getting active coaching weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis from certain individuals to take me to the vision, right? God may be the one that places the vision on my path, but if I'm going to be lazy and not actually work for the vision, it's not going to happen, right? So a lot of the stuff that, or a lot of the goals and dreams that agents have just stay goals and dreams. They don't actually become achievements, and it has to be a choice, Back in August when I looked at my issue pay numbers and I decided, you know what, let me hit President's Club and show the team there's no excuses. You can actually do this. I had to issue pay over $200,000 from August to now.
Wow.
That took a lot of work. I realized, okay, I'm just going to have to wake up at 6 a.m. and hit the phones ASAP. And then about a couple weeks into that, I realized, okay, let's do 5 a.m. A couple weeks after that, I realized, okay, I'm not ending work at 4:30. We're going to end it at 6:30, right? I made the adjustments. I did the things that need to be done to achieve the goal, right? It was a choice. I chose to work 15-hour days for a handful of weeks just to get the dream, the goal, the vision out of the way. And I entered into a busy season to get it done. And that was a choice, right? A lot of agents come into this business and at the start of every year, I hear it all the time. I do a coaching call with every one of our agents and we talk about their vision for the year, their goals, what they want for their business, their home life, their family, whatever they need to talk to me about, right? And we put it in a little note, we write it down, we address it in, future coaching calls and things like that. But a lot of times it's just not something they're working towards. It's just something on the vision board, right? A lot of people have vision boards. They have the screen saver on their phone with the things that they want in life, but they're not doing the work to get there. They're not doing the extra work to get there. They're just expecting it'll happen just because it was dreamt of, It's like planning to buy a house or build a house, but you never actually go to the store and buy the supplies. You don't hire a builder to do the work with you, right? You don't hire a contractor. And, that stuff is so important. If you have a vision and a goal, that's great. That's obviously the first step. I've realized a lot of people in business don't know how to catch a vision or a goal. But once you're able to actually do that, now put in the work towards your vision and goal. You have to work towards it. You have to be going in a direction. If you're not going in any direction, all you do is go backwards. Yeah. And you don't want to do that in this business. You lose a lot of revenue doing it like that.
That's so good. I mean, I think you're 100% right. Like the first step is to have a vision and realize that like you can create a whole new future. I think that's such a big deal where people understand like your past doesn't equal your present or your future. Like you can change that today. And so really ask yourself, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your business to look like? Like when you pass away and they bury you, like what are people saying at your funeral? Like what's the talk? What are the behind the door conversations about your life and how you lived and what was done and what you accomplished. I love how Ed Mylett says, like, when he goes to heaven, he believes that, God, if he were to introduce him with the person he could have been, like, this is who I created you. This is the potential, the capacity that I created you to be and to have. And he's like, I wanted to look like my twin. I want to recognize that person. The greatest fear is that I don't even recognize that person. And so the reality is, no matter where you're at up until today, you could say, well, man, I wasted all these years or whatever. It's like, no, God will take all things together. He'll put them together and make it for better than what it would have been in the first place. So that thing that you call like, a regret or what have you, God will actually use that and create a better and a more blissful, season in your life than would have happened if it never happened, because he'll work all things together for good. And so I just believe like understanding like what do you want your life to look like is so important, because that, Holly, like you know what you want the next year to look like. You knew what you wanted 2025 to look like. Like you weren't confused. It wasn't like, well, hopefully some good things happen. You're like, no, this is what I want it to look like. You had such a good vision. And then I think that next question of like, okay, well, what's my next best move to get closer to that vision becoming a reality? And you just have to ask yourself, like, what is it? If you're like, I want to be a President's Club Circle, President Club member, okay, great. What's your next best move? Everybody might be a little bit different. For you, you might say, well, I got to invest more in leads. I'm investing in leads to write $20K a month. In order to hit that, I need to hit $40K a month. So I need to invest more in leads. Okay, we'll do that. Like right now. Don't put a condition on it, because that's just an excuse that's going to keep you bound. And the longer that you bind to the excuse, the more you put off the next step. And the longer you put off the next step, the less likely you are to take the next step. So you want to stack the deck and put yourself in a position where the deck is so heavy that you're going to take that step and get your vision to come to pass. And so what's your next best move, right? And I love what you said. I want people to get this. getting the right people around you that can hold you accountable to those steps that's going to take you to the vision, right? Knowing that we're all like tempted to do the lower level thing because it's easy to just work by default. Like, this is a thinking person's game. Like, this business is a thinking person's game. Like, it's easier not to think, right? It's easier just to be like, it is what it is. It's easier just to be moved by your feelings and how I feel today. Well, I feel like I don't want to take a risk. I feel like I'm kind of tired. I feel like I don't want to take the next best move. I feel like I want to be comfortable. Well, you're never going to live the vision that you hope for being moved by feelings. You got to be moved by faith. And the faith is, I've got the vision. And now what's my next step? And then how do I stack the deck to do it? Let me get some people around me that's going to help me, do the thing I need to do because I've got accountability. And anything, Holly, for me that I've been accountable to, I've been so much better at. So much better at. Like, the people that have a New Year's goal to lose weight and the ones that just have that goal, and then the ones that have that goal and have a physical, like a personal trainer, they're so much more likely to hit their goal because they got a personal trainer. Mm-hmm. They're investing their money, and they're also investing their the way they see themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see myself as somebody. I don't want others to see me as not having integrity. If I say it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so now they got the personal trainer like, hey, you can be there at 5 tomorrow. 4:45. Mm-hmm. You're like, God. Well, I told him I was going to be there, mm-hmm. and I don't want to think of the idea of them being like, oh, he didn't show up. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not committed. And so I got to get up. And that accountability means everything. So maybe for you on here, start to ask yourself, how do you create more accountability? What environment can you place yourself in that's going to help you be accountable? I want to be in an environment where I get called out to do the stupid thing, the lower level thing, right? If you're tempted and you get on the phone and you're on social media for an hour and you look up like, oh, shoot, how'd that happen? And you know that costs you quite a bit on activity. Maybe get to an office or if you're next to 4 or 5 people dialing, or in a Discord room, and leave your camera on, make a non-negotiable, my camera has to be on. Well, you're going to look kind of funny, man, if your camera's on, you're doing this the whole time, and there's nobody mm-hmm. answering, and you're just looking at Instagram.
Yep.
That's a good thing. You want to do that, right? You want to set yourself up to do the next best move. Mm-hmm. So I love that. Holly, anything that, you would give somebody that is saying, man, 2026, this has got to be my year. Mm-hmm. Maybe they've said that about 2025 and it wasn't. Like, this is the year. Like, and they want to go out and they want to produce like you've produced. They want to have some of the stories that you've got about, mm-hmm. Not just being a President's Club member, but also helping others do that, because that's significance. Mm-hmm. That feels so much better. But they want to have some of these stories they're telling next year at this time. Mm-hmm. What's the last bit of advice you'd give them? What's the biggest thing you would tell them mm-hmm. to make sure that they can do that?
Yeah, I would say stop chasing motivation. Like, motivation isn't going to take you but a couple steps ahead of everyone else. Motivation fleets the moment you have a strong enough excuse to get out of whatever, scenario you're in. I'm done dialing. I feel tired. Okay. Yeah, there's not enough motivation to make a sleepy person want to keep dialing. Okay. Yeah. It's discipline, guys. You have to chase discipline. Work on discipline. Create a disciplined environment, no matter what it takes, whether that's driving all the way to an office to stay disciplined just because you need the accountability of everyone around you, whether that is forcing yourself to get ready, get in front of the camera on Discord or live dials to stay disciplined and, just do the work, whether that is hiring someone or asking someone to be an accountability partner with you and make yourself accountable to the stupid stuff. Like you said, the lower level things like, hey, how many leads did you dial this hour? 8. Okay, you'll quickly want to change that result having someone ask you that question every hour. But guys, stop chasing motivation. You don't need pep talks. You don't need to go on and listen to Kevin Hart on Pep Talk to tell you to get up and go to work, okay? You don't need to call your mentor and ask them every morning to give you pep talk to get to work, things like that. Get discipline. Chase discipline. Become a disciplined person. And you'll see yourself thrive in your business, in your life, in your relationships, and just every area in your life if you just become disciplined. That's the one thing I would say.
Well, I think it's a big thing you just said. I think discipline equals freedom, and I think I'd agree, Holly. That's probably one of the things that I would probably point to if anybody asked me. It would be like, just develop some great disciplines. It provides such a great fruit in this business. I always said like this business, it's either the highest paying business or the lowest paying. Like you can make millions, or you could actually make nothing. Like you can make $0
Yep.
and spend a lot of time, effort, energy, and make $0. But I also think it's also the most gratifying and the most depressing, right? And I think discipline is what bridges the gap between the two.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have discipline, it's very depressing. You know, like you'll beat yourself up. You won't feel good. The result will suck. You'll be disappointed. You'll be discouraged. If you don't have that discipline, if you're just being moved by emotions and feelings, like you get nothing done. You get to the end of the day, feel like you were busy, but nothing was like it's very discouraging, very depressing. But if you're very disciplined, it's so rewarding and gratifying to just be like, man, I said I was going to do this. I did it. Enhances integrity, self-esteem. You hold yourself better in all the other areas. Like it's such a rewarding thing because it requires self-discipline, because not like a job where the person will provide discipline. Like, hey, if you don't do this, you're fired. You know, that's kind of, it's a different kind of thing. But when it's discipline and it's your choice, right? It's a big deal. So, guys, I hope this served you well. Holly, this was so good. Thank you so much for coming into the studio today.
You're welcome.
And,
Thank you for having me.
and being on the podcast. This was great. Guys, go out there and do the next best thing right now. Whatever you think you need to do, don't wait until another hour passes. Do it right now. You know what to do. Nobody's got to tell you what to do. You know it. Go do it. Make it a massive week. Be strong. Stay steadfast. And we'll talk to you next week. God bless you guys.